I'm going to answer, finally, the number one question that I get asked. And that is, how can I help somebody else in my life become more resilient? Get some perspective. Stop whining or complaining or just not making headway against a problem. How can I help someone else do that? And of course, I find it really ironic that everybody asks me that question, and tons more people ask me that question than how can I be more resilient? Like, oh no, everybody else has the problem, not me. But I get it, because it is easy to identify when somebody else in your life isn't moving on from a problem that they've had and you want to help them. So it's something that I've actually spent a lot of time researching it. I haven't not answered it before this because I'm trying to be coy. It's tough to answer because the simple answer is you can't. Right? You can't give someone else perspective. You can't make somebody be more resilient. But there are a couple things you can do, and I've gone back into the research, and these are the 3 things that I think that you can do if you've got somebody in your life like this. The first thing that you can do is model resilience for them, right? You model resilience for them. Then you can provide opportunities for them to develop some perspective on their own. And finally, if you do those 2 things, you're going to do the third thing, which is build a culture of resilience. So that first one, that's modeling resilience. And I've figured out why that's kind of hard to do. It's because whether you're talking about modeling it for a child, or maybe you're a leader, a manager, modeling it for employees, I think that we often don't want to let people see our struggles or our vulnerabilities. I know as a parent, you don't want your kid to worry. You don't want to, say things like, oh, financially things are, I might lose my job. You don't want to scare your kid. And so sometimes we don't let our children see our own struggles. And then that becomes a habit that we build into our daily lives. Perhaps as a manager, you don't want to let your underlings know, well, some things are, a little shaky in this environment right now, because you don't want people to worry. But at the same time, if we never tell people our concerns, then we're not giving them an opportunity to watch us model resilience, getting knocked down, making a bad decision, flubbing up, even having a big failure, and what we do. So the more we can model resilience and talk about it, the more we can avoid things like this Varsity Blues scandal where kids think that life is supposed to come easy. We let them watch us get knocked down and get back up, and then they go, oh, that is a part of being an adult, or that is a part of being a leader or a manager. The next thing we can do is offer opportunities for people to develop that resilience by building a little perspective. I always say I think the best thing for this is volunteering, right? You can get your kids to volunteer. You can get your employees, if you're a manager or a leader, to volunteer. But all the ways that we can share, we can see other people's experiences, that gives us perspective. And the more perspective somebody has, then the more they're going to be able to take it in stride when it's their turn to be knocked down. And if you do these things, then you're developing a culture, again, whether it's within your family or within your organization, you're developing a culture where people can struggle, ask for help, lean on other people, develop an action plan, and move forward. So to answer the question that I'm asked most often, how do I help somebody else get perspective? How do I help somebody else get more resilient? That's what you can do. You can model it for them. You can offer them opportunities to develop it themselves. And then by doing that, you're going to build this culture of resilience where it's going to start to come more naturally. You can't make it happen for them, but you can set the stage. That's the best you can do. So good luck.